Here we go. Resident Evil 2 Remake. Now this is a long time coming playing this, to broadcast a review. This game's been out for a long time. In fact, we even have the remake of 3 already. But I wanted to make sure that I touched base on this one, considering the fact that Resident Evil 2 on the original PlayStation was one of my favorite games of all time. And I was so happy that this was getting a remake. I'm very happy that 3 got a remake right after that, and I'm hearing rumors that even more remakes are going to come from it. But let's see, I wanted to take a look here at some of the differences in the game, some things that I think are improved. So I'm actually going to start this right up here. Yeah, like I say, you even have the preview for 3 now on the bottom of the menu. But let's jump into... It's a new game. We'll play as Leon. I love the little loading thing with the typewriter. That's pretty cool.
Man, I'm serious, okay? I saw this with my own eyes.
Oh, I believe you.
So this was the biggest difference right off the bat, was that the intro was changed. We get this time to spend with the truck driver that in the original played a pretty big part. We see him get bit at a gas station, and then later on he comes plowing through the streets and hits the police car that Leon and Claire are in. But now we actually get a chance to spend a little time with the truck driver, and they leave him getting bit to mystery this time, which I thought was a really cool way to go about it. We end up assuming he's going to get bit, but the way they go about this was pretty cool. The detail of the graphics in this, I mean, look at that character model. It's just insane. Every detail, from the beard to the texture of his skin. Oh, you know what? I never even noticed that. He has an earring on his ears there. I never noticed that before. I love that it's raining in this scene. Very ominous. He's hearing that radio broadcast that goes out, and then here we go. Oh shit, that's right. Oh. See, it's a moment like this that added depth to the character. Yes, it's a minor character, and really until later on when he plows through the streets, that's the last time we ever see him. But we get to see character build up here, which was nice. We especially get that with Marvin later in the police station. You know, everybody loved Marvin being the injured officer in the original, but we get a lot more to his character when we run into him with Leon, or Claire, depending on who you play with. And then we get to the gas station. So instead of the truck driver being there, getting bit there, we get your character that you play as to start at this gas station. And seeing this change to the introduction was honestly a welcome change. I was wondering, were they going to just go beat for beat and show everything the same exact way, just with new graphics? Or do we get something new? And I'm really glad that they went with going with something new.
That's weird.
Really good character model for Leon as well, too. Well, that's never a good sign. So before I go into the gas station there, I just wanted to take a look at a couple of details that are right outside here at the beginning of the game. I mean, just even what it focused on just a moment ago, the blood that's already on the ground. That's Leon's first clue that something is just terrible right now. We can find an open police car. I remember first playing this, I was like, oh, there's got to be a weapon here or something, but there was nothing here. The thing I also like are these signs that are on here, you know, with the choice of hamburgers that they sell there, different coffee blends, beers that they sell. Let's see what else we got here. Some cereals. Oh, what do we got here? Free air. Ah, I never even looked at this. They have the entire instructions for the air pump. I mean, that's just incredible. Hey, $1.99 a bag of ice. Hey, that's not too bad. But here's one of the things I really like right over here. The sign, "Welcome to Raccoon City, home of Umbrella." I love that they put this here. We get that glimpse of that sign in the original, and we see it a whole bunch of times in different, aspects of the games that are in Raccoon City. But I love that you can actually go up to it there. Really cool detail. Let's see, just out of curiosity, how much is gas in Raccoon City? So this would have been in 1998, keep in mind. So here we go. Regular was $1.06 a gallon, plus $1.09. Super, $1.21, not bad. $1.02 for diesel. Amazing. All right, let's bring in to the first encounter. And right off the bat, it sets such a creepy tone.
Hello?
This was exactly what they needed to do with this. Conveniently, we find a flashlight. That's always good.
Something's not right.
Yeah, something is not right, Leon. And before we go deal with the mess, my favorite little Easter egg. Herb ice cream. Green, red, yellow, blue. Love it. Alright. Now, this moment, the first encounter with a zombie,
You alright?
this blew me away here because the level of detail, I mean, it is absolutely gory. So before I jump into this, I mean, I kind of figure if anybody's watching this game, a video about Resident Evil, you're alright with gore and blood and everything. But this takes it to a whole nother level for the game series. And this is where I knew it was all going to be very different going forward on the level of gore and how brutal it's going to be.
Stop moving.
Officer, you need help?
Stay back, sir. I got this.
Oh, man. Leon, you got him killed. Oh, my God. That's just nasty. But look at the detail. I mean, even the glistening from the light. Now, here's a trick. You don't even have to deal with this guy. You can go and get the key. Right? You're going to need that key to get out. And wait a second. He's going to walk right by. Oh, I waited too long. He went the other way. I messed up the trick. I've done it 1,000 times and I messed it up. Well, let's run past him anyway. Oh, he's angry. Alright. This is what I found to be the best path out of the gas station here. You can actually get caught here. Now we get to meet Claire.
Don't shoot! Get down!
And we have our newest update to the Claire model. Claire's character model has changed several times in the Resident Evil series, sometimes dramatically. In this case, again, a dramatic change, looking very different as far as her face features and everything go. But, you know, she still has her costume. You know, they've had updated costumes here that are reminiscent of the old costumes. I really do like that you can change the costumes in the game as well. They have the classic ones. They even put the original PlayStation 1 styles. They look like the PS1 characters. You can play as those character models. So this is where the intro gets very familiar, very similar to the original version. And I was glad that it took a step into that zone as well. It's still, you know, a bit different than what it was, but we get a sense of familiarity at this point. We feel comfortable, right? We know where we're at. It kind of puts you at ease as the player. But that's the thing. Games like this will sometimes put you at ease for the sake of then shocking you a moment later. Like when you're not ready for what's coming. Now this was another change too that I really like. This intro clearly inspired by The Walking Dead. Very cool style. We get some glimpses throughout Raccoon City. And after playing the remake of Resident Evil 3, where you get to be out in Raccoon City for a lot of the time, I was looking around in this intro again. Here's the trains area. This is where you go down there with Jill. There was a lot of areas here that you get to be a part of in Resident Evil 3 while Nemesis is chasing you. But that'll be for another video. We'll play Resident Evil 3 at another time. But I just wanted to take a little bit of time to go through this Resident Evil 2 remake, a remake of one of my favorite games of all time. And I really think they did a top-notch job in this game. There are things that I feel could have been handled better, mostly when it comes to continuity and differences between the scenarios. Because whether you play as Leon or Claire, you end up doing the same exact puzzles and you deal with the same exact enemies. The only difference is Leon's story gives you time with Ada and Claire's gives you time with Sherry, so there's a big difference there. But you do play some of the same boss battles, which kind of messes with the continuity, right? Especially if you're doing scenario 1 and then followed up by scenario 2. I feel like they could have done something different because the original had one character dealing with Mr. X and the other character dealing with William Birkin. But instead, here in the remake, both characters deal with both enemies, and it's the same encounters. So that was one thing that really, I feel like they could have done a better job with that, to make it a little bit different, make it similar to the first one, where say, hey, you're playing scenario 2, you deal with Mr. X. But if you're in scenario 1, maybe you see some things about him, you know he's present, you know there's something to do with him, but you don't have to deal with him exactly the way the other character does. That said, even though that's the case in this game, it still does not diminish how good this game is. Now, we have our truck driver back, and then this was surprising to me. Usually, in the original, they got out of the car. This time they don't. This thing plows through the car while they're in it. I still, to this day, I can't get over the detail in this game. It's just absolutely amazing. Now, I'm not going to do a full playthrough right now. I just want to get into the police station and look at some areas in there that are reminiscent of the original and look at the changes.
Claire! Claire, are you okay?
This is just like the original. We start with the fire from the crash. We're going to have a horde of zombies right in the beginning, and we got to work our way to the RPD. It's time for these guys. They got to move. They're in trouble now, so we got to definitely get on the move. And all we have at the start right now is a few bullets left from that handgun. So I've played through this game so many times now. I know which paths to take. There's certain ways you can go to get past without getting hit, and you know for sure you're going to be all right. And that can be said for most games that you play. Once you played it a whole bunch of times, you can pretty much run through them.
There it is, the station.
But still, what a great atmosphere here. Oh, the guy's coming out of the school bus. That's just crazy. Right. Let's get into the RPD. Now this area In the original, you could go around and get around a little bit, go into a tunnel and get to a different area. They saved that for Scenario 2. It's blocked off there, but you can see there's a tunnel area right here down the stairs, and Scenario 2 puts you down there to start with. Oh, I never even noticed this body bag right here. Wow. And then over here is blocked off as well. So this is it. Once you're in here, your first place to go is right into the RPD. Here we go. When I first played this remake and walked in here, I got chills walking in. You get that big statue there.
Hello? Is anybody here?
And seeing the remade RPD station was just mind-blowing. I mean, it was everything I imagined it could be and more. They really did such an amazing job with this. I like this feature. They put a check mark on things you're done with, so you know you can discard it. Saves you some time. Now, I have a whole lot of unlocked weapons and everything like that, but for now, I'm going to keep what they give you. Just for the, kind of look at the real experience of the game here. So I'll pick up ammo for a little while. Like I said, I'm not going to go too crazy here.
There has to be someone here.
I think they did a really good job, too, with casting the voice actor for Leon. I think he sounds really good, especially for this time frame of Leon. You know, he's more matured and everything by the time you get to Resident Evil 4, but he's a rookie here. This is day one for him. So I think they did a really good job with casting this actor.
I gotta find that guy.
Alright. So, we still get typewriters, which is nice. I'm glad they didn't change that. It was different in Resident Evil 7, though. We got the cassette player. I thought it was a nice evolution of how the save worked, but I'm glad they didn't put a cassette player into this one, because Resident Evil 7 came out before this remake did. So we get a different kind of puzzle for this statue. We used to get the spade key in the original and put one medallion, but now there's 3 medallions to get, and they're a puzzle in themselves. So actually, you know what? Let me show you one of these puzzles. I think I remember the combination. There's a file you get that tells you how to do this, but here we go. We got the lion statue and then 1 medallion in there, so you have to know which combination to put into this. And if I remember correctly, it's lion, leaf, and then I think bird. Yep. You get the first medallion. Now, obviously, if first time you're playing, you have to find the file, figure out the combination of what that's going to be. But that medallion will go right into here to start off this puzzle of getting through this area. Now, this was a cool feature that they did here, making this an entryway. I believe, and I could be wrong about this, because I didn't play all the way through Resident Evil Outbreak. I used to have the game, but I never played all the way through it. But I believe they introduced a secret passage down this way in that game, and I think Marvin had people go that way. I'm pretty sure that that was introduced, and if that's the case, the fact that they made it that way here is just a great attention to detail and honoring the past games, and that there's been something put in place already that makes that connection. Now, this is the other major change to this remake: the lighting. When you go into the RPD in the original game, it's bright lights. You can see everything. Everything. There's really no problem with seeing your way. But now it is pitch black, and all you get is this flashlight to light the way. When I came to this area for the first time, I walked my way through, just like this. Found that it was got a locked door, and this layout was very similar to the original, so I knew where I was. But just the fact that it's this dark made this absolutely terrifying. And I am so glad that they did that. It was such an amazing addition to the game. Like, you could turn on a light in this room, that was, you know, all fine. But it doesn't light the hallway, you know? This is it. Now we go back into the dark. But this kind of a change to bring horror back into it just by changing the lighting was brilliant. They could have easily brightened up this whole thing, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure it'll still be fun to play just with the new graphics and everything, but this added a whole new level of fear to the game. I mean, then you come across things like this. Now you're shining a light and you're just finding bodies
Jesus.
all over the place, and you don't know, I mean, are they going to get up? You know, you take your time through here because you don't know what's going to happen, and that's great. If you went beat for beat with the remake, you'd know exactly what's going to happen, but now there's changes. Oh, this poor guy. So, back to the level of gore and how much blood. This is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in a video game. But the level of detail, this graphic engine is incredible. And I'm playing this on a PlayStation 4 Pro. So it's as far as the PlayStation goes, the highest quality version that it can get from here. But oh man, that poor guy. And then we get our notebook from him, which tells us about the medallions. Now, I'm playing on normal right now, so you could see all the codes right off the bat. Depending on the difficulty level that you play on, the code changes, but also parts of the book get ripped. There's smears of blood over it, and you can't see the code every time. But being that it's on normal, we can see it. These guys can take some hits. Wow, he went right after me. Now let's see. Sometimes I get lucky and I can go right around these two. If you duck right to the right. Oh, nope, she got me. Oh boy. Sometimes you can sneak right around them. Alright, now we get reintroduced to a fan favorite, Marvin Brown. Oh, man.
You're safe. For now.
Thanks.
Marvin Brown.
Leon Kennedy. There was another off strike. I could...
Yeah.
Let's step away for just a moment.
I'm sure you did what you could, Leon.
Does anyone know what started this?
Not a clue. But honestly, all you need to know is that this place will eat you alive if you aren't careful.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to start last week, and I got a call to stay away. I wish I'd come here sooner.
You're here now, Leon. That's all that matters.
Oh,
Hey,
Marvin.
Lieutenant, I'm ready.
Now this is what I was talking about with character development in this game. We didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with Marvin in the original, but now we get to have this conversation with him. We learn a little bit about his character type and his motivations here. Now he doesn't tell you how he got hurt and how he was bit.
I'd come with you, but I just slow you down.
But we get to find out in the remake of Resident Evil 3, and I'm not going to say what it is. I don't want to spoil that, but when it happens, I was so shocked and so amazed. I was so impressed of how they explained this. As if you recall, Resident Evil 3 takes place before, during, and after RE2. So it's nice to see kind of the overlaps and then where the stories meet up with each other. So now we got Leon in his RPD gear, the remake style. We get a knife. Now this is awesome, the way they remade this. I mean, there's even handcuffs on his belt right there. There's a side pouch right there. We got the knife right there in the holster. Absolutely great. Fantastic. So I'm just going to go a little bit further here. There's one more very graphic scene that happens here. But it's worth taking a look just again to showcase the graphics detail in this game.
This is not how I imagined the first day.
This just in case. A little bit of ammo. And we're on our way. Now, this is a classic location from the game. Normally, when we came upon this, we saw a very particular creature crawl across this window. But it did not happen here. And when that happened, I mean, you could see there's scratches on the walls and things like that. But when I turned this corner and the liquor did not crawl across the window, I was terrified. Because now, I'm like, okay, that's different. I don't know where this thing is. Again, dark hallways, using your flashlight to light the way. Now, we used to get the introduction right here. But he's not here. I had no idea where it could be, if it could jump out at any moment. This, I mean, why would anyone do this in the first place? But again, it just showcases the level of detail in this graphic engine. That's just disgusting. It really is. But it's so impressive as well. This guy's been hanging there a little while. You can actually knock him down. Oh, what a mess. Look at this. You even get more scratches on the walls. I mean, as Resident Evil fans, we knew exactly what made this mark on the wall here, but not knowing where it is at this time, it is even more scary. Oh boy. Alright, we'll leave her be. Alright, I think I'm going to close it out here just by showing that we still get a map in the game. It's a lot more interactive than the original. Shows you where you are, the room you're in. If it's red, there's still something to find in there. If it's blank, you haven't been there. Blue means you've been there and there's nothing else in there at the moment. Well, actually, that said, yeah, I didn't leave any items behind, right? Yeah, because the nice thing about this map is, well, it depends on how you look at it. The new map will show you the items on the map. Now, they did that in Resident Evil 0, so you knew where to backtrack to and find the items. Now, I didn't always look at that much in Resident Evil 0 because you actually had to take an extra step to view it. This one will flat out show you there's an item in the room, and once you've seen the item, if you didn't pick it up, it'll be in the room will still be red, and we'll show you exactly what item it is. Like, you still see a typewriter here, for example, in the item box. That's fine, all well and good, but if you miss an item but your character saw it, you'll see it here on the map. Now, I think that's a positive change, but I did like having the choice of whether or not to look in Resident Evil 0. So I guess it kind of depends on how you look at it, how you see it. Does it feel more like a way to make the game just easier? Or does it just, help with the sake of backtracking? Because that's what these games were, a lot of them were about. Were about backtracking and going back to places you've been to discover something new. But it really, it depends on how you look at it, whether or not that's a pro or a con. I think it's overall a good change, especially for newcomers to the series. But now, just to give you an idea of how much these guys can take. I mean, we could hit these guys in the head a whole lot. And sometimes you get lucky and get the whole head off. But look, he's down, right? He's not done. Those are 3 headshots. We got his friend here, too. Well, we got lucky right there. His head just popped right off. So we don't have to deal with him anymore. But this guy right here, he's not done. Good way to check is with the knife. See, he's not done. If you want to slow them down, get them at the knees. Oh, now is he done? Wow, did you take less hits than I expected? Oh, his leg came off. Oh boy. Alright, he took less hits than I was expecting. Maybe the headshots were more like critical hits. But overall, I mean, this game is just absolutely incredible. Again, dark hallways. Here's another classic area. A safe room right under the staircase. It's exactly where you'd expect it to be. And this room right here, I'm going to turn the light on. I mean, this is it. This is the exact save room from the original. I mean, this is exactly what you would expect it to be. We still get herbs that we can mix. The photo developing station here. So if you find film, you can bring it here. But just, this is one of my favorite rooms. And I'm so glad that they kept it like the original. Absolutely incredible. I love it. Overall, this game was really well done. And with the remake of 3 out now and rumor that they're going to do 4 as well, it's very interesting to see what direction they may take this in, because there are some changes a little bit to how the story plays out, so that can change how you handle the story in a sequel. But when you take an original game and develop it further and bring more character arcs, bring more detail to the game, more to the story, that opens up doors of opportunity. And I'm glad that Capcom took the opportunity to do this. I mean, I still remember when that YouTube video launched and they announced that the remake was happening. I couldn't believe it. I dreamed of a remake happening for so long. The closest thing I had to a remake of this game was playing Resident Evil 2 on other systems other than PS1, because they upped the resolution on the Dreamcast, and then the same way on the GameCube. And now when I go back and play the original, I'm usually playing the GameCube version at the higher resolution. And it's the same game from the PS1, it's just crisper. All the character models aren't as blurry and jaggedy looking, so it's a nice upgrade to that. And now, even taking something like that and play on a modern television where you could do super sampling and all kinds of things like that and mess with the picture settings, you could make it even smoother than it was before. There's so many options when it comes to playing retro games like that at this point. But to be able to pop this game in and go through a full remake of one of the games that I absolutely loved growing up. I mean, I played Resident Evil 2 so many times, that I knew it back and forth. I could run through that game with my eyes closed. And now I've played through the remake so many times that I could almost do the same. I'm not quite there with the remake of 3, but eventually I will be. And 3 is a very different style, more action, more fast-paced. But this game brought a whole new level to survival horror, and it brought it to new audiences, which I think is exactly the purpose behind a remake. You know, you not only to satisfy the craving that existing fans have, but you want to bring new fans into the franchise. This is a great way to do it. I mean, honestly, you know, to bring new people into the game and give them such a polished product here, it really doesn't get much better than this. They really went all out with this game, and I am incredibly happy with how they did this. I'll certainly make another video featuring part 3. I definitely want to go into other sections of this game and look at some boss battles and things like that. But for now, I'm going to call it a day on the game. I think 36 and a half minutes is enough for now. So if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe to MatCaveGaming on YouTube. I am looking to start up a Twitch channel as well, which I do have it in place already, but nothing really uploaded there as of yet. Same title, MatCaveGaming. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch it. Feel free to put a like on there, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next MatCaveGaming.